Hi everyone, welcome to Club UX. So tell me, what is the success behind a great product? The success of a great product lies with the experience that a user gets by interacting with that product, which is called user experience. And in order to create that ultimate user experience, a UX designer follows a design process, which starts from understanding the problem, understanding the user needs, researching with the users, coming up with different solutions, prototyping of the solutions, testing it with the solutions, and so on. This is called as UX design process. UX design process is an empathy-driven process. It follows design thinking approach of solving complex problems in order to come up with innovative solutions. And in this video, we are going to talk just about that. We are going to understand what is a UX design process, and we will also understand the 6 key steps of a UX design process. A UX design process is a process of solving user problem. It is an iterative method which helps a UX designer to continuously improve and polish designs based on user feedback. It is important that you know a UX design process feeds on user feedback at every step. Without user feedback, you would be essentially shooting in a dark. UX designer makes it possible for the UX designer to come up with innovative solutions and solving the key user problems. Usually a UX design process is a 6-step process. But number of the steps which might be followed by one UX designer will be different from another UX designer. It also depends on the kind of project that you're working on and also depends on the resources of an organization. With this, let's understand what is the first step of the UX design process. First step is to understand the problem. UX design is the process of solving a problem for users. So in order to understand that, the first step is to understand the problem you would solve and understand the objectives of the organization as well. Getting understanding of 2 elements is crucial: user and the brand or the organization that you're working for. There can be multiple ways to do that. If you're working for a client, then speak to the client. If you're working for a new organization, then speak to the product managers. It's important that you speak to the stakeholders as well. If the team has previously carried on some research, then understand the research. It will give you a lot of understanding of the problem. All of this information would help you to create a design strategy which would align the goals of the users with the objective of the organization. And the ultimate outcome of step 1 would be a design strategy of the organization, which gets clear and guide you on how to carry on the user research. Now that you have your design strategy in hand, next step is to carry out user research. Carrying out user research helps you to understand what users think and why they do what they do, identify and prove or disapprove the assumptions, explore user behavior and learn user problems. There can be a huge difference in the perception and the reality. An organization might think that a user might be having a problem A, but in reality, user might be having problem B. But how to find that? In order to find that, you have to conduct a user research. Now, there can be different ways of conducting user research. We have discussed a lot about user research in some of the other videos. Do check that out. You can carry out qualitative research and you can carry out quantitative research. But conducting user research would bring you closer to the reality. And by the end of the research, you'll get user insights, which is then analyzed to learn about key user issues. Now the next step is to analyze the problem. Analyze the user insights, the information that you have gathered, and make connections around it so that you draw some conclusions around the key user problem. Framing the right problem is the only way to create the right solution. Now, you would get a variety of user insights, a plethora of user insights. The next step is to synthesize and analyze that insights. There can be multiple ways to do that. Now, there are multiple UX design tools that you can use to analyze, synthesize, and then present your problems. You can make use of personas. Personas are the realistic yet fictional representation of the kind of your target users. Then there are empathy maps and there are affinity mapping. Making use of these various UX design tools would help you to present, analyze, synthesize and present your information in a visual manner, which would help the other person to understand what you're trying to convey to them as well. The outcome is to come up with the user problem. Defining the user problem that would help you in coming up with the solution. Now that you have defined the user problem, next step is to explore different solutions in order to address that user problem. The best way to do that is to sketch the solutions. Explore solutions by designing them on paper. Creating different paper sketches and prototyping on a paper is a quick and cost-effective way to test ideas in the early stages of product development. Your outcome would be the paper representation of your solutions validated by your team member and stakeholders. See, easiest way to present your solution is by creating paper sketches. Creating paper sketches and prototyping on paper is quick and cost-effective way to test ideas on the early stages of product development. After your paper sketches get validated by the team members, next step is to create a skeletal framework or a blueprint of your solution, which is called as wireframes. A UI designer can make later use of these wireframes to create UI mockups. Creating wireframes gives the flexibility to play around and do a lot of experimentation. And then prototyping helps to review and refine it with user feedback and turn it into a polished version and develop to an end product. This is when UI designer comes into the picture to design the high fidelity mockups. Your outcome is the UI mockups of the solution, which would be ready to get tested with the target users. Okay, so you have your UI mockups now. What to do? Go ahead and launch it? No, you have to carry out user testing. Go out and test the design with the end users to get feedback on it. These feedback will form the basis of further iterations and refinement. It saves time, effort and money by catching bugs, errors, usability issues that you might not have anticipated. There are different ways by which you can carry out user test. User test is carried out by your target users. They would disapprove or approve your solutions and will give you a lot of feedback on how to improve your solution. The first solution that you come up with might not be the most effective one. And in order to understand that, in order to get feedback on that, you have to carry out research with the real users. Different kind of user tests that can be carried out. For example, usability testing, focus groups, A and B testing, tree testing and so on. The ultimate objective is to get feedback on your solution. Whatever feedback that you get can be used to further iterate the solution and then again test with the real users. But here it is again important to understand that for one UX designer or for one organization, the number of steps that are being carried on in a UX design process can be different. So guys, in this video we understood about UX design process. UX design process is iterative in nature and can be entirely unique to your business and product. What it means is that the stages are going to look a lot different for you as compared to somebody else. However, the goal remains the same, which is to solve the user problem in most effective and innovative manner. So guys, I hope you understood the UX design process in this video. Make sure to check out some of our other videos on UX design, user experience research, user experience design and more. Make sure you check out our website yukti.io and you will find a lot of articles on that. And make sure that you subscribe to my channel for more videos every week.